Forgive me if I seem to have a hearing problem. I woke up this morning, was completely deaf in my left ear and partially deaf in my right ear. So if I appear to be struggling a bit, I do apologise. Town Clerk, could I just ask, would it not be appropriate for you to read out the splurge about the meeting being recorded?
Yes, I was just about to say, I'm about to press record. Sorry, I've just pressed it as you said that. If there are any members of the public who don't want to be identified or seen on video, can you please change your settings accordingly? This recording may be published on council website or Facebook page or the Facebook or social media channels of third parties. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Could I ask, can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. If you'd like to start going through the agenda, then
Yeah, we'll do.
Clerk.
Item 1 is apologies for absence, and I've had an apology earlier today from Councillor Cunningham, who can't attend. He's ill at the moment.
Okay, do we all agree to accept that apology?
Yeah.
I propose we accept it. Is that okay, everybody?
Yeah.
Could you raise your hand if committee members only, if they agree?
Councillor Dodds?
Agree.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Heron, you put your hand up there, but you're not a member of this committee.
Agreed.
Councillor Heron, you're not a member of this committee, are you?
Yes.
Since when?
Sorry, you're not on my list here. Management and policy is Councillors Cunningham, Dodds, Elvin, Geddes, Green, who I also have an apology for, Councillor Hopper, Sinnott and Waterson.
3 Labour on.
Are you on or no?
Bear with me. Yeah, Councillors Cunningham, Dodds and Sinnott.
Thank you.
So you'll attend then, Bob, in the position of a member of the public, yeah? Very good. Thank you for the clarification, Clerk.
Yeah, can I just say as well, I've also had an apology this afternoon from Councillor Green, who has a work commitment tonight.
Okay, do we all, could you show your hands if we all agree to accept that, please? All committee members?
Agreed.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Councillor.
Councillor Dodds.
Agreed. I've received no apology from Councillor Sinnott.
Okay.
And that will be unapproved. Yeah, thank you, folks. Item 2 is declarations of interest. Any this evening?
None.
No. So I'm just watching the screen. Councillor Dodds, I can't.
Nope, none.
No, thank you. Councillor Waterson?
No, none.
No. Anyone else? Councillor Geddes, you said no. Councillor Alvin, you said no. Okay, thanks very much, folks. Item 3 was public participation. Again, with committee meetings, we normally suggest an appropriate time scale. Chairman, I don't know what views you have.
I will say 15 minutes, but we'll wing it. If it goes on any longer, we'll take it by as it comes. We need to let everybody have this chance. So could any member of the public indicate if they wish to talk to us about anything? No? Okay.
Could I just come in, Councillor Elvin, please?
Yes, of course you can.
For point of clarification on item 5, the review of standing orders, was just to ask what is an unelected voting member of the council? What does that refer to?
It could be a co-opt.
Yes, if you co-opt somebody, councils have the right to co-opt people to various committees, and those people can either be elected, be voting or non-voting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Heron. Town Clerk?
Any other public participation or from members in attendance?
No.
No, yeah.
So, if we can move on to item 4 then, please, Town Clerk.
Yeah, I'm just going to screen share. Can I just mention, we've got quite a few fairly hefty documents which I'll screen share with members tonight. If anybody wants to speak, can you do so audibly, or alternatively, at the bottom of your page you should see a chat facility where you can send either me a message, or any individual member, or everyone. So that's another way to attract my attention.
Yes, Town Clerk, if anybody wants to speak, just raise their hand and then I'll bring everybody in turn.
Okay, I'm just going to get this screen share. Okay, there we go. This report's been prepared following ongoing comments and discussions and feedback, principally around the role of engagement with the City Council, and in particular the Coalfield Area Committee. The report gives you some background, outlines the current position, and makes some outlines some next steps, and suggests some actions which the committee we wish to recommend to full council.
Yeah, could I just say thank you, Town Clerk, for preparing this document. I think the salient point of the document is the current position where the current charter agreement should have been revised in 2013, and the review has been undertaken. And I think obviously it's incumbent on us to do such a thing, and see what we come up with when we talk to Sunderland City Council about that. And that is then covered by 2 suggestions later on, which I will firm up as proposals after I've opened it to the floor for discussion on Graham's documentation. So would anybody like to ask any questions or pass any comments? Councillor Hopper, you've got your hand up.
Excuse me. Sorry. I was just wondering. So 2009, this charter was agreed, and have we had any representation by previous councils at the Coalfield Area Committee, or was it just not acted on, or is it since?
No,
Sorry?
sorry, Councillor, I think I can answer that question. We've always had an elected representative to sit on the Area Coalfield Committee. That's always been the case. But it's pretty worthless insofar as that they have no voting rights. They have no rights at all, really, that exceed those of any ordinary citizen, because anybody can attend the meeting. It's just that we've had a nomination where somebody goes and reports back to the council. So it really gives us no more standing than any other member of the general public. So it's, as I say, they have no voting rights or anything.
So we're going to. So are we actually going to push for a full membership wherever possible?
Oh yeah, I mean I think what we need to do is we need to enter into discussions with Sunderland City Council as per the document that the Town Clerk has prepared, bearing in fact, the Localism Act of 2011 fundamentally changed a lot of the way things were done, and gave a lot more scope and possible authority to what we would call the minor tier councils, parish and town councils. Obviously, this has not been enacted upon, so it's incumbent upon us now to enter in negotiations with Sunderland City Council to update the charter, and take the Localism Act 2011 into consideration.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Any other questions? If not, I will move swiftly on to propose that an approach be made to Sunderland City Council, including option for town clerk and committee chairman, to meet with appropriate senior officer to explore opportunities to review and strengthen the role of the council's representation on the area committee.
I would second that.
Okay, all those in favour, could they raise their hand? And if you're not on visual, if you're a committee member, could you say aye or nay?
I'm okay with that.
So that's all in favour. Thank you.
There's something here that's not in town clerk. If I suggest that actually there should be a further proposal that we enter into discussion with Sunderland City Council to review and update the charter.
It's at the bottom. It's at the foot.
Oh,
of
it's number 3. It's 3.
Alignment.
Sorry, I'm rushing around. I thought I'd missed that. I forgot to highlight that. Sorry.
Councillor Elvin,
Yes.
you don't half give me a missed heartbeat there.
I just like to keep you on your toes.
Yeah.
Proposal 2, town clerk routinely invites members of Sunderland City Council representing Hetton, the Hole and Copt Hill electoral wards to meetings of full council to deliver updates and hear local concerns. Now, this is a separate invitation as opposed to the summons they get as Hetton town councillors. This is actually a provision made in the existing charter. So all we're doing is actually implementing one of the points of the existing charter. So I'd like to propose that. Do I have a seconder?
Second that.
And
That was Geddes, I think, was in first.
Yeah.
If there are no comments, could I move swiftly to a vote? All those in favour, raise a hand. If you're not on visual, say aye or nay.
Right.
Councillor Dodds?
That's all in favour.
Did Councillor
we-
Dodds vote?
Yes,
Yeah.
there's a hand, Councillor Dodds, is that an affirmative hand?
Chair, can we just make this a regular thing, like quarterly at a minimum?
No, it's no,
It just says routinely.
yes, monthly. It can be. I think it's designed to actually get updates specifically when there's something on the agenda which would be of interest to that it's happened at Sunderland City Council that would be of interest to Hetton Town Council.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah, really good. Thank you very much. And then I go to proposal 3, which I had forgotten to review. A review of the charter to be undertaken with SCC to ensure alignment with emerging government plans for an increased role in communities for town and parish councils. Do I have a seconder?
Second that.
Second it, no.
Or let's Councillor Waters can second it this time. All those in favour, please raise a hand, and those, as I say, without. Clark, do you have visual when we don't?
I've got everyone except Councillor Herron, who's in attendance.
Yeah, but he's not he's on the
Councillor
committee.
Dodds isn't on visual, which is given it again, I assume, an affirmative hand.
Oh, I
there.
see. Oh, I
That
see.
is, yeah.
So again,
Thank you, Councillor
in
Dodds.
favour.
I can't see that. So if you're going to do it electronically, that's great. Okay, thank you, everybody. We'll now move on. Mr. Town Clerk.
Yeah. The next item is a review of standing orders. Everyone's had the document. I can put it up on screen, but there are quite a lot of pages there.
While you're doing that, Town Clerk, if I could just say to everybody, I'm not proposing that we go through this line by line. The Town Clerk and I have actually been through it line by line. You've all had documentation since last Tuesday evening, so in that, I'm sure you'll have had the opportunity to avidly take it on as bedtime reading, as there's all 22 pages of it. So as soon as the clerk's got it up, could I ask if anybody's got anything that they think needs amending, or any queries or any clarification? We did go through it, and it reflects the current standing orders, but just updated as per the recommendations. Basically everything is the same. There's some slightly different wording.
Yeah, Councillor Dodds would like to come in.
Okay, Councillor Dodds, please go ahead.
Yeah, section 3A, it states that the meetings won't be held in premises that supply alcohol. But when the football match is on in the town trust, the bar is open. Am I right?
Correct.
Therefore, that will contradict that, won't it?
It does. There is a get-out clause. I mean, this has been in the standing orders since time immemorial. This is nothing new. I think what it really refers to is we shouldn't actually have it physically in the bar where we're serving booze, which is not the case. And of course, the other opt-out is unless no other premises are available free of charge or at reasonable cost. But I think this has been in since the beginning of time, and I don't think it creates a problem because no alcohol is actually served in the room.
Chairman, if I can just comment here, just for the benefit of members, these draft standing orders are based on the National Association of Local Councils model, and all of the type which is in bold are legal requirements. They're all legal, those which are in bold. So we have no scope to alter them at all.
That was one of my questions, actually.
Okay. Anything else, Councillor Dodds?
I mean, the other thing just to mention, if I may, is that these standing orders have been devised by the National Association by a team of solicitors who are specialists in this field. And generally speaking, the advice is, certainly don't touch anything which is in bold, and other than to reflect local nuances, try not to alter them to any great degree.
Which we haven't done.
Yeah, because they're not a one size fits all. There is the flexibility to modify the non-bold text, but it's generally viewed that the model will fit all councils.
Councillor Dodds, I think you wanted to come in again.
Yeah, but this section is in bold. However, it was just 3B where it says Sunday, and we normally take that as a weekend rather than Sunday.
Town Clerk, if you could clarify that.
Yeah, the minimum 3 clear days, not include the day on which the day of the meeting is Sunday. That is correct. I don't include Sundays.
But we don't include weekends rather than just Sundays. Is that correct?
That's regarded as good practice. Yeah, to omit Saturdays as well.
And the section.
Sorry, Councillor Dodds. Can I just clarify on Town Clerk? Are we just going to exclude Sundays?
No, you can't. No, you can't exclude Sundays. This 3B is in bold. That is the legal requirement. You can't include a Sunday as part of the 3 clear days. And the general advice I've had is that you shouldn't include a Saturday either.
You shouldn't? Shouldn't
include a Saturday, and certainly I don't.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you. Carry on, Tracy.
Section 4D5.
Can you give me a page number, Councillor?
7.
Page 7.
Got you, right.
It says if you want to change a member of a meeting, you've got to give 7 days notice, but sometimes the agendas only come out 3 days before, and that is the notice we're giving, so we can't give a full 7 days if we're only getting 3 days notice.
Well, we're not going to have 3 days notice, so we have it's anymore, are we?
No, the three clear days notice is the statutory period. And sorry, I've lost the place again here. Did he say 5?
7.
Page 7, D5.
5. Yes, I see where you're coming from.
When you're getting them in 3, you kind of page 7.
Well, the suggestion is you change it from 7 to 3.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Sorry?
To bring consistency with the legal notice period for meetings.
No, I would disagree with that. I think the 7 days is there for a reason. If you were going to change somebody, it wouldn't be. It's not designed, I think, to allow people to just to change it at the last minute, is it?
No, but for the likes of this meeting, we only had 3 days notice, so we couldn't give the clerk 7 days notice when we only had 3 days notice.
Well, I think
Can I make a suggestion here? This may be a drafting issue, not on my part, but it does strike me as being anomalous. What I'd like to do, subject to committee's view, is just seek clarity on that, either from the Company Association or from NAG directly. There does appear to be a bit of an inconsistency there. I just need to understand the context of how that's been drafted, and I can report this back to a full council next week.
Thanks, Graham.
so. When it comes to before we vote at full council, we'll decide whether that's going to be 7 or 3. Is that correct, Town Clerk?
Just to try and get some clarity, as I say, I
Yes,
think this
that's
may be a
okay.
drafting error
Okay.
in the model, because clearly you can't give 7 days notice if the legal requirement is for 3.
Excuse me? Hello.
Councillor Hopper.
No, I think we should leave it at. I think we should leave it at 7, and the reason being, we're not. It's not like that we're tapping in substitutes for every meeting, is it? Is that what we're talking about? I don't know.
It would be under exceptional circumstances, I would think, if somebody had to fall ill or they couldn't attend and we needed them.
Sorry, the only reason I ask is I could have really done with being on the planning meeting the other night to talk about crowd day things, but because rules are rules, it was like, well, okay, we're not going to do it, so we're stuck to the rules. And I don't, if we're supposed to be working together, which we all agreed at the beginning of the year or the beginning of our term, then for me, it doesn't matter who's in that meeting. We should be making decisions based on the town. Rather, do you see where I'm coming from, Councillor Dodds? It's not like sort of, like I can't make it, so I'm going to tap in Councillor Rome so that we maintain the status quo when it should be us that are voting on something for the benefit of the council.
If somebody's
I'm quite happy for it to go to a vote, but I just thought.
I think it's more if somebody's ill health and we need another member to make the call. And there could be a situation, and we couldn't give the 7 days if you're only aware of the meeting in 3 days.
Yes, I think so. I think
I tend to agree with that.
I think if we just get Graham to clarify with the governing body whether it's just a typo or whatever it is, and then come back to us at the full meeting and decide whether that's going to be 7 or 3.
Yeah, well, no.
But I take on board your point, Councillor Hopper. I see where you're coming from, but I think if we can just move on.
Yeah.
I've got another 2 issues, but they're just.
Yeah, I meant move on from that point. I didn't mean.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry, Councillor Dodds, carry on.
There's throughout the document it refers to him, he, and his, and we should be. In this day and age, it should be they and their rather than he and his. And there's a lot of sections where words are joined together where there's no space between words. But I can send the town clerk my notes on all of that rather than read each individual one out.
Can I just come back on the spacing issue? I think that's because it's different versions of word that have been used. Because mine look okay, and unless you can tell me if there's any on the screen now which are incorrectly spaced. I did spot some of those during the drafting process, which I thought I'd picked up. Certainly on my laptop, compared to the model which is from my work laptop, the different versions of Word, and that's created some issues, including on spacing and paragraph numbering and things.
Councillor Dodds, could you give me an example? Because I've printed the latest Alpha and I have got to.
Yep,
an
on that
example,
page there, page 7,
D2.
Page
D2.
7, what? Which
D2.
word?
D2,
Sorry?
the council.
Page
Mine's
7.
fine.
Yeah, I've got it now.
Page
It's-
7.
Yeah, D2,
Yeah, I see what you mean.
the council, and it's
Oh, yeah.
throughout.
Where?
Section page 15. In
hang on a second.
section 14, there's loads.
Just 1 second. Sorry, Councillor. You say on page 7.
Yep.
Is that 4B you're referring to?
No.
D2. D2.
Yeah. See,
Oh, D2. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah, mine has run together. Hadn't spotted that. Yeah.
There's quite a few throughout the document.
Yeah, I think we're going to ask the clerk to rectify that in the final document, which is circulated to all members. I don't think, well, I take your point, it needs to be accurate. I don't think it loses anything by the fact that it is, has come out that way, but as you say, it should be corrected.
Eyeballs, isn't it?
Yeah, just to be, I do notice the last one that was produced, the little cardboard one that was produced at great expense by the council and given out to members, was absolutely full of mistakes like that.
I'm not correcting that one, Clark. I'm correcting this one.
No, I'm just saying it's, you know, in the past, it's if it doesn't lose its intention, it's not I don't think a major issue, but I think the clerk will correct it.
Sorry, I've just got another version of the document in front of me, and it's absolutely fine on there. It's different versions of Word that have done it. It needs a run through, and I'll certainly make sure that that's looked at.
And could we come about the other thing? I mean, this came from the governing body, and we're talking about gender. Will you seek clarification from that, Town Clerk?
Yeah, I mean, there is. These are historic documents, and Councillor Dodds is quite correct. The he, him, his thing is throughout the document. The only exception which can't be changed is the references to chairman, which is how it's recorded in the Local Government Act 1972. So that's the legal standpoint. I mean, there's no reason if committee wanted to recommend that we put a proviso in, just in the comments, that, you know, the comments should be gender neutral or something along those lines. There are various forms of words we can use.
I wouldn't like to see you have to go to an awful lot of work to change it all. It's
No, there are some. It's just as I say, a proviso at the beginning of the document to say that any references to, you know, he, him, can we also refer to, you know, her and she, that sort of thing.
Well, I think that would be acceptable. Would you find that acceptable, Councillor Dodds?
I just think it should be gender neutral. It should be there in this day and age.
I propose that to save the clerk work on this occasion, that he as time is of the essence, that what he has suggested, he puts it at the beginning of beginning of it, and then we can note that for the next time it's revised. So anybody like to second my proposal?
Yeah, I'll second that.
David Geddes.
Find and replace doesn't take that long.
Could I vote for that? I've made a proposal. Could have a show of hands or those in favour of the proposal for Graham to make that proviso at the beginning of it? Raise the hands, or to the contrary, whichever.
So
if you could record the voting on that, please, Town Clerk.
Councillor Dodds, your hand's blue again. Is that an affirmative?
That's fine.
So you're fine with Councillor Alvin's suggestion?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you,
Carry on, Councillor Dodds. Do you have any other points?
Just section 14, section A. It just refers to the district or unitary council. Should that be Sunderland Council? because it's just noted in the next section as Sunderland Council.
Yes,
that's
it should be. Yeah, just an omission on an oversight on my part. Which one was it again, Councillor Dodds?
Page
14A.
15. Page 15, Town
Yeah.
Clerk.
Well, I'm getting there. Yeah, that's fine. That's at 14A, did you say?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, just missed that one.
Anything else, Councillor Dodds?
Fine. Nothing more.
Nothing more. Okay, if that's the case, with the amendments that have been suggested this evening, I'd like to propose that we then submit this document to the council for approval at the full meeting next week. Do I have a seconder?
Seconded.
Councillor Waterson, could I have a show of hands in the affirmative or negative?
Okay, yeah, we're all right. Councillor Dawes as well, just to, for my understanding of the blue hand.
Yep, that's fine.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Town Clerk, the next item.
Give us a minute, man. Give us a minute. Right, the next item is 6. This is the draft grievance policy and procedure.
I could say we went through this again line by line, and there is not a single change that we made to the recommended model. And again, if for invite views, if Town Clerk has anything else to add.
No, again, these are based on a model. It's one of these things where both this policy and the disciplinary policy can be applied to councils, you know, with multiple employees. They're not, it's not a mandatory requirement, but it is good practice. They may seem a little bit over the top, but the model can apply in my case, should I wish to raise any grievance.
Okay, I'll throw it open to anybody. Anybody like to raise any points or suggested amendments?
I think it's fine.
Nope. No. Excellent. Well, I propose then that we take this to full council next week as to be accepted as our draft our grievance policy and procedure. Do I have a seconder?
We agree.
Dave Geddes, do we have a show of hands in the affirmative or negative?
Yeah. Councillor Hopper?
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Yeah.
Moving swiftly on, Town Clerk.
Yeah. Item 7 is the disciplinary procedure. Again,
exactly the same applies.
Yeah.
Just bring it on screen.
Again, this is exactly as recommended by NELC. We went through it, didn't see anything wrong with it. Again, if anybody on the committee wishes to make a contribution.
I think if it's good enough for 120 councils, it's good enough for us.
Thank you, Councillor Geddes. Any comments, observations?
None.
Chair, could I just...
Yes, carry on, Councillor Dodds.
It's just a suggestion. On some of the policies and procedures, we've got page 1 of 5, 1 of 6, and on some we've just got page 1. Could we uniform them all and put page 1 of X on them and have the title and review date and version number on the footer as well? It's just for completeness. I'm not, you know.
Chairman, if I can just come in there. Yes, I recognised between the two documents that I was unable on the discipline to put 1 of 1, 1 of 5, or whatever. And again, that was a trouble I had with Word. It just simply wouldn't let me do it at all. I'm fine with the principle of the continuity between the documents and the date and version control. I can figure out how to add it, I will.
If you need any help with that, Graham, just give me a shout.
I might have to. I might have to. As I say, I
Sorry,
did.
Sorry, Mr.
Once I started all the documents, the spacing went all the pot and everything. So I thought you'll get it in its, if you like, its raw format with any minor adaptations. But certainly the numbering in the date, try as I might, it didn't like it. Didn't like it.
Okay.
So
Oh, we appreciate your endeavours. I think Councillor Geddes wanted to say something.
I mean, if it's all right on the original documentation, then the way around that is just to send the original documentation out in paper form.
Town Clerk, any comment?
It was a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. It's something which I would like to achieve, as I say, for consistency. I'll seek technical advice either from Councillor Dodds or another resource,
Okay.
Miss Keedy, my daughter. She's very good at these things. But I've got to the stage where I thought we need to get these out to members, and I'm afraid the numbering became secondary to me.
Okay. Any other comments?
Yeah, can I just say, you know, I appreciate that things have to be correct. However, I'm very mindful of the fact that the clerk's time's precious. You know, I don't like to think of them being sort of waylaid doing these sort of amendments when there's a lot more important things that we need taken care of. You know, I can see both sides, but you know, I think there's much more important things that that his time could be spent on. I think it's I don't want to. I'm not sort of making small of what Councillor Dodds is bringing up. I can appreciate the fact. However, I think we have to be mindful of the time, and we have to prioritise the clerk's time to its fullest. You know, so.
Yeah,
I really don't mind if the town clerk passes them over, and I will do it. It will take me 2 minutes to do it, so I don't mind doing it. I do it as part of my job every day. So
Oh, it's very kind,
if he sends them across, I don't mind putting the information on for him.
Yeah, I hope you appreciate it's not a criticism of what you've been saying. It's simply, you know, I think the clerk's time is very important, and we do, you know, I know for a fact I'm taking a lot of his time with community issues. If we could sort of alleviate these type of things, it may be helpful to the clerk and to ourselves, you know. It's just a point I wanted to put forward, that was all.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Waterston. I actually totally agree. I don't think it loses anything by in its context by not being, you know, consistent. So we'll just leave this one to the town clerk to see what he can sort out. But I would totally agree with you that there is far more important things than the town clerk to do than.
You can pay me later, Mr. Keedy.
So
Indeed.
as I say, I think, you know, we have to think of his time. We're not a huge organisation like Sunderland City Council with 1,001 employees. Got time on their hands, I'm sure, to do things like this. As long as the essence of the document is correct, then I think at town council level, it should be okay. But yeah, I'll leave you to sort that out to town clerk. So if there's no thing, can I propose that that we take this document forward to full council for approval next Monday? Seconder?
Yeah, fine with that. Yeah.
Tracy Dodds, you seconding it?
I am, yes.
Okay. Can you all indicate if you're in favour? Thank you very much. Town clerk.
Right, thank you. Next one, where am I? Website accessibility regulations. Oh dear.
Could I just say something? Having read those, they're an absolute nightmare.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Agree with that one.
I think we, you know, for those who have read it, I think I'm just trying to bring it up on one of my other screens. You know, we have to ensure our website it includes access to impaired visions, motor difficulties, cognitive impairments or learning disabilities, deafness or impaired hearing. All very admirable, but there is a cop-out clause in the documentation which says, you know, that if basically time or money is a disproportionate burden, then, you know, what we have to do is have a policy that says so. But I think with the complexity of it, obviously Councillor Dodds has read it, maybe we should get the town clerk to implement the necessary parts of it to begin with, to comply with the law, which is to do the evaluation and then take it from there. Councillor Dodds, would you like to comment on that?
Yeah, I agree. I think we need to have a look at ours, make the minor changes that we need to make, and then as a way forward, look at amending the webpage in little portions so it spread the cost. But I also know that the regulations are being amended again in 2021. So
exactly,
and they're changing as from day to day. Basically, they keep adding stuff on. So who knows what amendments they're going to keep making. So I think it needs to be fluid.
Yep. Could I just ask the town clerk, have you had the opportunity to take counsel on this from our governing body? Are there any exemptions, or are we all subject to it?
I mean, I initially flagged this up with council earlier in the year, and it's like one of a number of things. Before you know it, the deadline is on top of you. And of course, the deadline for these enhancements and compliance was set for the 23rd of September. And then, of course, COVID hit us. And lots of things went on the back burner across the pitch in the sector, including this. Now, what I had expected was to find, in the same way that the government relaxed the regulations about only being able to have physical meetings, and they extended the deadline for the audit, I had expected them to put a revised date on this, and they haven't. But having said that, the recommendation that I've had via the County Association is that by the 23rd, which is not that far away, it's only a week and a bit away, is at the very least we need to have just a position statement. And I've got a number of templates from other local councils, which I would like this week to have a look at. And it would be my intention, it'll not go out tomorrow, but just be able to table something for full council next week. The accessibility statement is the key aspect, which is basically saying you've carried out an assessment and outlined how bad or otherwise the site is. Again, the County Association have suggested that nobody's going to come under severe criticism or face financial penalties for not coming on the 23rd of September. But I would like just to have a look at providing a basic accessibility statement, which, if you like, would be a statement of intent. And I think that will act as the holding position in the very short term. But potentially, I saw this when it first came out as the lever for upgrading our website, which is long overdue with design overhaul, as well as an accessibility overhaul. So that impetus is still there, not least of all because there's a legal requirement to do so. But if we are able to approach it in an incremental manner, as suggested, that would be very helpful. The key thing, certainly for this month, is to get that accessibility statement out, which just gives a position statement in if you like, a statement of intent. And that's the proposed approach I would like to take.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Anybody got any views to the contrary?
Councillor Dodds did have a hand up before.
Yeah, Clarkins just want, do we need to put that statement on every page, or is it just on the main opening page of the website?
The honest answer is I don't know. I would think, I would hope it would just be on the home page, but I need to just go into it in a little bit more depth. What I was conscious of, that although this was flagged up earlier in the year, there'd be no further updates. I've made reference to it at the July meeting, and I did send members the document that you have this evening out on the I think it was the 21st of July. It needs an urgent revisit, but the key point I'm making is that the full accessibility and compliance doesn't have to be the 23rd of September, but we do need to do something. And that, in my view, is to do the position statement.
Well, that's exactly what it says in the document. So that would keep us from getting into any bother. But as you say, even in the document itself says that you're unlikely to be sent to Siberia if you don't do it. So don't worry, town clerk. So if we're all in agreement,
if I'm not worried, I get worried.
So could I just have a show of hands that are we all in agreement that the town clerk follows the procedure he's outlined?
Yeah, so everyone, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, item 9 was Hetton Mini Park. Now, this item has been discussed a couple of times before, management and policy. And if you remember, one very cold day last December, we had a little site visit at the mini park where everybody was terribly enthusiastic about what we might be able to do with it. And unfortunately, for a variety of reasons, not with COVID, we need to revisit it. Now, I did make an approach to the city council, and the architect person I was dealing with, they're working on some sort of semi-commercial basis. So it wasn't a case of just going along and saying to them, need a hand with this, please, what can you recommend? They have a fee structure and all the rest of it. So it came to a little bit of a halt. And I put it on the agenda this evening just to try and get members' view about, where do we want to go next with it. It's not going to be the straightforward task is say to the City Council, we need a hand with this, please. And certainly the officer I've been speaking to did give me an outline of the fee charges. And I think, committee needs to take some decisions, not on the specific cost, but just on the principle of where we want to go with this.
Would anybody like to come in with any contributions? Councillor Geddes.
I discussed something with Councillor Waterson before this meeting, and one of the things that I discussed with her was trying to get sponsors to help us. So as we did privately through the culture of Hetton, we went to businesses. I don't know what the cost is, but I think it's a viable route to take, depending on what the committee thinks.
Councillor Hopper.
100% agree with Councillor Geddes. And just as he was saying that, I was thinking about the roundabout outside the arena. You know how beautiful that is now, sponsored by a business. Put a price on it. So put a price on certain parts of the of that, and a small plaque. Maybe we had the design. Do you remember when remember when we were talking about street shops that had been done in an old style sign written? If we agreed that yes, you could put a little plaque next to the bit that you sponsored, a very small plaque.
Precisely what Councillor, that's precisely what I suggested with Councillor Waterson before our events committee meeting.
Sorry for reading your mind.
Great minds think alike.
It's a good idea. There's plenty of businesses trying to get out there. So
could I possibly suggest then, it's all been so difficult with this COVID-19 not having physical meetings. If we go into a little bit more depth about what we think we'd like to do in what stages and get some costings, then of course it's a chicken and egg situation, because if we got the costings and then we could get the funding, then we'd then still have to get the permission from Sunderland City Council, because they technically own it, don't they, Town Clerk?
Yes, yeah.
So whether we need to get our ducks in line and say, well, this is what we'd like to do if we can get the money, and then ask from the City Council if they would be happy with that, and then get the sponsorship. See where I'm coming from? It's a bit difficult to know where to start. Councillor Geddes.
I think that one of the other things that we'll have to be mindful of is looking at public opinion, given the fact that as a private individual, we had a similar situation. So, just be mindful that, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't in some cases, Councillor.
Yes, that's true. Town Clerk wishes to say something.
Sorry, Councillor Elvin. Councillor Dodds has a hand up as well.
Okay, well, Councillor Dodds first, then Councillor Waterson.
I've just been thinking about this for a while, and I think instead of calling it a mini park, we should refer to it as a memorial park, and have an emphasis on the memorial aspect of the park.
Totally agree.
And along those lines as well, I think we should set aside an area and put some rose bushes in for people to remember those who we've lost these last 5 months. So a memorial of rose bushes or tree or something like that, just for people to go and pay their respects for the people in the community that we've lost to COVID.
Yeah, but yes, Councillor Waterson, you wanted to come in, then I'll say something afterwards, if I may.
Yeah, it was just a comment you made, Chair. I think we have to move forward with this because it is a prominent area in Hetton. It doesn't feel like it at the moment because it is a mess, and that's the bottom line. And I hear that on a regular basis from the majority of residents in Hetton. If you ask them anything, they think the mini park's just a total mess and a waste of time. So I think we do have to address it, and I think the way we go about it, again, we have to get some sort of a plan in place as to what we would like to achieve, and then go from there. What do we want to achieve? What do we want to change? And then get the costings done. But I definitely think it needs to be addressed, and I think it's something that will be applauded by the residents of Hetton and the community as a whole.
Yeah, could I suggest that we have a separate meeting with only this item on the agenda to try and I say it would be nice to actually meet physically if everybody felt comfortable with that in the outdoors again, and to list our priorities, what we'd like to do, and then if we have them, we can then, as I say, whatever we wanted, correct me if I'm wrong, Town Clerk, we'd still have to get permission from Sunderland City Council, would we?
Yes. Yeah.
So it'd be a case of, I think, 1, we decide what we want, 2, we ask Sunderland City Council if it's been done, 3, we then look at getting the money.
If we had, Chair, if we had an order of importance or preference, and then we had a costing done for each, we might be able to do it
exactly.
That way.
Exactly. So could I propose that we have a separate meeting then for that, either physically or with Zoom, to try and iron out some priorities and move the thing forward?
I would like to see a physical meeting in the memorial park. I would like to see that.
Well, I'm quite happy for that. Well,
actually, Councillor Elvin, I don't know what your availability is tomorrow. I don't think you were listening to the events committee, but I've got to take some photographs and send them off for prices from that particular committee. So I'll be down there tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow might be difficult. If you give me a time, I'll try and make it with pleasure. But I've got a work commitment, which if you speak to me, I'll try and work it around that.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, but my basic suggestion of separate meeting with just one thing on the agenda. If we feel happy about meeting physically in the fresh air, that's all well and good. First of all, could I ask those members of the committee who show of hands if they would be happy to meet in the fresh air at a safe distance? Could they indicate?
You can't meet in groups over 6.
1, 2, 3, 4. There'd only be 5 of us unless any of the other councillors are.
If everybody turns up, we can't make an agreement to have a meeting. No. If we can't invite all committee members.
How many committee meetings?
Well, I think it's the way around it. I mean, if you're in two different bubbles, I mean, the legislation seems strange because we could all go down the pub and sit on different tables, and that would be within the law, wouldn't it?
I don't want to be seen to be breaking the law just to have a council meeting.
Why don't we put it out to all of the members of the management and ask who's available? I don't think we'll not get over 6 anyway, so.
Well, we can't have it over 6, isn't it? If that's the strict interpretation of the law. So can we just try to overcome this at a late, in the next few days, whether it's going to be physical or,
Town Clerk, what is the recommendations on meetings?
You can tell by the look on my face, I'm totally bamboozled by it all. My current understanding is that it's 6. I take on board Councillor Elvin's comments about, but you can go into a pub, and it's a confused picture as far as I'm concerned. Certainly, the recommendation in terms of council meetings is that meetings are continued to be held remotely. There's no specific reference, as far as I'm aware, to site visits or things like that. But certainly, in terms of formal business, the recommendation is to continue to meet remotely until further notice.
Can we take some guidance?
I wouldn't like to give you an interpretation of the government's current guidelines more generally, though.
Councillor Waterson, you've got your hand up.
No, I was just simply thinking of it as if 6 people met. I wasn't actually thinking of it as a council meeting, but I think Councillor Dodds is correct. It is actually would be councillors' meeting. So yeah, she's probably correct about that. We should maybe see what the guidance is.
Okay, we'll have to be a Zoom meeting then, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you could meet in 2 groups of 3.
That's what I said, but...
Hello.
Sorry,
Hello?
Councillor Hopper.
It'll be quite easy to have 2 or 3 people down at the park and be able to one agree just to film what was going on and put the questions on Zoom. So you could have a Zoom meeting down there. The Wi-Fi is good enough down there. It's not a problem. I could do it off my phone. Everybody else could be sitting there and they're saying, right, okay, move the camera around to that bit. Why don't we do whatever? So if it needs to be, I mean, then we could do, one of us could go down and take a series of pictures, send it out to everybody, and everybody just mark on. So,
well, if we make the arrangements for it, as the chair says, to have a separate meeting sometime in the near future, surely as individual people we can go around ourselves, have a look in the mini park, and come back to a Zoom meeting with our issues, and that's all we need to do, really.
Very good suggestion, Councillor Waterson. I think that covers it all. Would you all agree?
Yeah.
Councillor Dodds?
I'm happy with that, yeah.
Okay, so we'll do that then. Moving on then, Town Clerk.
Yeah. Item 10, recording of council meetings. If I just give you the background to my putting this on the agenda. As members will be aware, when we have physical meetings in the Hetton Centre, we've used the CCTV system to record full meetings of council. And now that we've moved to remote meetings using Zoom, it's an absolute doddle to record meetings. And because I've got into the habit of using Zoom, I'm just pressing record. And of course, I realised last week at one of the meetings was planning. I pressed record, but I hadn't announced to any members of the public that I was recording it, which is a good practice to do, and it's something which we've done this evening, and we do at full council as well. When I've given this some thought, there are certainly, as far as I'm aware, no instances of where the council has recorded committee meetings in the Hetton Centre previously. And I think I'm just trying to gauge from members what the view is on recording all meetings and making them available. As I say, traditionally, all we've done is record full council meetings. Because of the ease of Zoom, I'll just press and record and away it goes. What do we want to do? What position do we want to take on this?
Well, I think we should have a policy which states that we may wherever possible, or we may, when possible, record committee meetings, because obviously we can't always guarantee that when we're back to meeting in the Hetton Centre that we can have the main room where there is TV video facility. So it's not a compulsion by law, it's only an option. So I think if we say put a policy out to say that we may record committee meetings in line with recommendations. Councillor Harper, sorry.
So it's when it's practicable, really. That's the bottom line. It's when it's practicable.
Oh, I see. Councillor Harper, you want to come in?
No.
Well, a little hand came up.
I was just agreeing with the town clerk about recording every meeting where possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, just to put members in the if you pardon the pun, put you in the picture. There's no legal requirement to record meetings. The legal requirement is to have your minutes approved and signed. That's it. The bonus that we have with Zoom is where we've been recording things and everybody likes it. So to a degree, the position we're in has spoiled us all. It's so easy to make a recording compared to what we're used to.
Yeah, well, I think we should, if it's not in the policy, we should amend the policy to say that we will do the same for committee meetings as we do for main council meetings, but only where possible.
Yeah, Councillor Dodds is wishing to speak as well.
Councillor Dodds?
Yep, I think it would be a good idea because we've got in that anybody can come in and record meetings. So I think if we've got a full version there that, it's not cut and paste and it's not sectioned out, then we've got the true recording. And if there is somebody, making comment, we've got the full version of it.
Yes, but there has to be a proviso that it's where possible.
Where possible, yeah.
Yeah, totally agree. So is the unanimity of on that subject that we will do committee meetings wherever possible?
Yep, I'm happy with that.
And amend the policy to suit. Is that okay, Town Clerk?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. The policy may need a revisit in general, but the key aspect is whether or not we want to go down the route of recording committee meetings.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Excellent.
Okay.
Sorry, Councillor Albert, can I just raise something on that point?
Of course you can, Councillor Geddes.
Because, I mean, obviously we've got the equipment in the chamber, but there have been occasions where we couldn't use the chamber and we've got to use the side room. There's no equipment in there. Just a point I want to make people aware of.
Yes, as I say, that's why we have to put the proviso in that wherever possible.
Yeah.
Because obviously when it's not possible, then we have to fall back, as the clerk said, on to the legal requirement, which is to publish the approved minutes. Thank you, Councillor Geddes. Town Clerk?
Yeah, item 11, litter awareness in Hetton District. Councillor Elvin, do you want to introduce this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been a thing with me and it's come up time and time again. It's a never-ending problem. And I do notice if we go to Peterlee or into Durham, as you enter the parishes, there are signs saying, please take your litter home with you, penalty £150 or whatever it is. And I just think it would be worth considering that we look at doing it, obviously in our area as a starter. There are other measures, we can probably discuss later, but signage, if we could discuss with some of the City Council whether they will help us provide it or whether they do provide it or whether we have to pay for it. But litter is a terrible problem, and of course it's a huge financial burden on the council as well, cleaning it all up, as well as it being very unsightly. So that's where I was coming from. If open it to the floor for discussion. Councillor Geddes.
I mean, the council do provide the signs because I've used them before, but there is other people that can provide signs, but I'm suspecting that you would have to go through the council anyway to have permission to put them up, depending on where you're going to put them. But I mean, the most expensive ones are the brown ones. So,
Okay.
They are expensive.
Okay. Councillor Harper?
There's been a number of cases where Sunderland Council have been recycling signs, so I think we need to go through to the department direct and ask if we can have the recycle signs. I haven't got a problem going putting them up. You laugh, but our park at the top, I made a reference about Craddale Gardens to Mowbray Park. We've got a recycle sign for Mowbray Park, and I haven't even bothered taking the Mowbray Park off the up at the top of our bank. So they definitely recycle this. I know. Yeah, get in touch with recycling.
Okay, could I just ask as a general sort of concept moving forward? The signs to say if you go to Peterlee or take the back road to Durham, it says welcome to Peterlee, or please take your litter home with you, fine £150, and somewhere and throughout places in Peterlee you see signs saying dropping litter is £150 penalty. Do we think as an idea going forward, talk to Sunderland City Council, see what they have to say about the provision of it, the installation of them, just as a starting point to try and address the litter situation? I'm very aware, obviously. Sorry, I'll get you in a minute, Councillor Geddes. That we have a lot of wonderful groups in the town who who do a lot of litter picks, but they all need all the help they can in reminding people. We have plenty of signs up saying if your dog fouls of pavement, it's a whatever fine it is. They're all over the streets, aren't they? So I just as I say, is an idea we should take forward. First of all, Councillor Geddes, followed by Councillor Dodds. Councillor Geddes?
Just taking a step back on what you said, I think our primary council should be doing that anyway. It's maybe a thing for the councillors to go around and identify where there's a lack of signage and what that lack is, and then ask the city to provide the signage for us. I don't see why Hetton Town Council should do that. If there's a need for it, and if we can identify a need, that should be then forwarded on to the city to take a view. That's what they get paid for. That's why we all pay our council tax. So I think the first thing would be to identify what's needed and where.
Fair point. Councillor Dodds?
Yep, I think signage is a good idea, and I'm all for anything that will prevent litter. It's a bugbear of mine. There's also a campaign actually going ahead at present that I think we should promote on the Facebook page, the Tidy Britain. It's going on between the 11th and the 27th of this month, so I think we should promote that and at least get it out there, try and make people think about it through the Facebook page, if nothing else.
Town Clerk, could that be added to our page?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Can we could I propose then at this stage that we propose to make council that we go ahead and start initial consultation with Sunderland City Council on signage in respect of litter? Is that can we do that? Yeah, get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
The clerk and, if necessary, myself, whoever's talked to the necessary people, and then we can come back and report to this commission, then to full council on what we've discovered.
Yeah, I think we should look at the key areas of the shopping areas, where the shopping streets are.
Oh, absolutely.
As key areas, like Easington Lane, Hetton, Market Street.
Yeah,
and work from that, work out.
Yeah, and the entry points to the the entry points to to the parishes, take your litter home with you and things like that. Yeah. Okay, so I propose that we start talking to Sunderland City Council. Does anybody like to second that? David Geddes?
Yeah.
Could you all
definitely.
indicate if we can take that to full council for
Sam
approval?
Clark wanted to come in there.
Yes,
Who
I did.
did? Oh, sorry, Michael Harper, did you?
Town Clerk wanted
No,
to come
Mr.
in.
Clark wanted to come in.
Oh, sorry.
Just on Councillor Dodds' reference to the Keep Britain Tidy initiative, if I wait for full council to ratify putting something on Facebook, it'll be over. Can I just go ahead and do that?
Yes,
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Right, thanks. I'll
Do it.
get on it. Get on it. Thank you.
Okay.
So just so I'm clear as well, you had a proposal there, Councillor Elvin, that we engage with the City Council on identifying areas for potential signage, which included shopping streets and entry points.
Yeah, and finance of it and provision of it, whether they're they're prepared to do it.
Okay, right, I'm fine with that. Thank you.
Okay.
Right, the final item on the agenda here, item 12, Hetton Line Boys Club site, committee to consider the possible role for the town council in future plans. Is this something you'd like to introduce, Councillor Elvin?
Yep. Well, it's something that's been going on for 20 odd years, maybe even longer, if somebody can correct me. And we had a big discussion on it 4 years ago in 2016. In fact, I was looking at the town council video of it the other day. It's the public are always asking me anyway about what's happening with this land and couldn't something be done with it. And I think it's incumbent of the council to see if they can assist. It's a large area of land. In fact, there's two areas. There's where the football field used to be, and then there's where the club itself used to be, and the associated tennis courts or whatever courts they were used for at the time. I think the initial starting point would be to write to what's called town clerk. I've just forgotten the name of it.
Is this the charity you mentioned?
Yeah, that owns it now.
Ambition.
That's it, yeah. I have a letter from them going back to 2016, and just to see, well, ask them what's happening, and have they got any plans, and if so, might we get involved or make some suggestions and work with them, because they're the people who own it. That's where I'm coming from. Councillor Geddes?
I think the question in 2016 asked by yourself to Councillor Heron was who's on the committee and what's the constitution and how do you get on, and I don't think we ever got an answer to that.
Well, I did get an answer. I mean, he said he would let us know all the people who were on the committee, but then subsequently I got correspondence from him saying that the people on the committee didn't wish to have their names disclosed. But that's something else. We can find out what's going on by going to the horse's mouth, which is the people who are in possession of the land. They're in control of it. They take it's up to them what to do with it. So, but I take your point.
I mean, my point is that. Who elects these people? How do you get elected? How do you know when the elections are? What's the term of the election? And it just seems to be a bit of a secret society.
Yeah, it is. But that's as I say, I'll put back on the Facebook the video of the meeting. That will everybody can then refresh themselves with all the answers we didn't get on that night. And it is now 4 years. And the video will give everybody all the information that went on then, and the fact another 4 years has passed and nothing's happened. So that's where I'm coming from. That I'd like to propose that we contact these people and just say, where's the town council? Yeah, have lots of inquiries, and we'd like to sort of get involved if we can and assist them in providing some sort of facility for the youth of Hetton. Yeah, Councillor Waterson?
Yeah, I know you weren't at the previous meeting, Councillor Elvin, but I found a little booklet, and it's quite fascinating. 1995 Hetton Town Official Guide. I didn't actually have it out tonight for this reason. I did have it out earlier at the events to show the mini park as it was in 1995 with a flagpole and a nice arrangement of flowers, a nice flower display. Rather nice. I've just been sitting here while you've been talking, and as we go through the leaflet, we come to clubs, societies, social clubs, youth clubs. A boys' club is established at the Lions and has a floodlit outside play area and football field. And that was 1995.
I don't think so.
Where have we gone? Where have we gone since then?
Well, it did exist, but it wasn't functioning in 1995 at all. There we go.
That's in your Hetton Town Council guidebook. So
interesting.
That's just a sideline.
All right. Before I ask for a seconder to my suggestion,
Sorry.
Councillor Harper, you'd like to come in?
Who owns the land?
Ambition.
Ambition.
Yeah, what happened was they took over all the land, it would appear, from all the boys' clubs in the country. I think it was the Association of Boys' Clubs or something, folded, and they became the trustee of all the various lands.
So it's not private?
No, it's charity, registered charity.
So,
although research...
it can't be sold for property development or anything like that?
Don't bet on it.
The only reason I ask is Hetton Lions Cricket Club have expressed a great deal of interest in that piece of land in recent years. I've had several conversations about it. So
yes.
So yeah, I would like to be part of the assassination team. I mean the research team finding out.
Okay, Councillor Kedis.
I think one of the things that alarmed me at the time, and if you recall, I think it was yourself, Councillor Elvin, that asked the guy that kindly turned up to take questions was, and will any monies from the sale and eventually the eventual sale of this land come back to Hetton? And he said, it might not be the case. I can't remember his exact term. Not necessarily, I think he said, or something like that, and that's a bit alarming. So, you know, could this company sell the land and take the money and use the money elsewhere?
Yeah.
I think that's a very relevant question.
If we entered into correspondence with this company, I'm sure, I mean, from the personal correspondence I had with the lady at the time, she seemed quite amenable. But of course, this was only personal correspondence, so I had no authority to speak on only in the capacity as an individual. So if nobody else has a comment, the proposal is that we move this forward to council to approve that the clerk initiates a dialogue with the people who own it to find out what's happening and if we can help, assist, or get involved with the redevelopment of it for the youth of Hetton. Do I have a seconder?
I'll do that for you.
Yeah.
Oh, was that Michael Harper seconding? Well, you were very. Oh, his electronic thumb went up quicker than your physical one. If there are no other comments or anything, if we move to a vote, all those in favour, please indicate. Harper, are you in favour?
I am in favour, yes.
Sorry, Councillor Dodds?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody. We've got through 12 items relatively quickly, and a lot on there. There's a lot to do, and you know, we need to start moving forward. And I think we've all been hampered a bit by this COVID-19, but hopefully we can move forward. And I'll be in touch with the clerk to arrange a Zoom meeting specifically with one topic on the agenda, and that is the memorial park, I think, as somebody once said. If you all can have a little walk round in ones, twos, or threes, whatever suits you, and then come back with some ideas. I think that's it.
Yes, that's
Michael Harper, you are getting a finger.
Yeah.
What do you want to say?
Can I just have a minute? Leave you with a thought. So during the lockdown, it is management and policy, but we have to go to full town council. I've mentioned a couple of things this to a few members, but think about the possibility of leaving Sunderland City Council. Think about the possibility of either joining Durham or becoming a councillor in our own right. I've been looking at the figures, and unless I'm wrong, there's an awful lot of money being spent and going out of this area, and it's not coming back in. And all the things we were talking about tonight, we would get the return of this land. We could even stop the Cragdale development, you know, stop them building our parks, because all our parks would be returned to us. It is, you know, yep. I spent quite a lot of time looking at the whole thing, the figures, what was owned and all that. So, and I just wanted to floor the idea. Anybody that wants to contact me, I would like to.
Okay.
But anyway, there you go.
We've indulged you, Councillor.
Can I just make one little comment, Chair? Can I make one little comment?
We shouldn't really, because it's not an agenda item.
This one is a drone only costs £25 for the mini park.
Okay. Councillor Happer, if you want to put something on the agenda for next meeting, please contact the clerk, because as I say, we should not really talk about anything that's
I'm really sorry about that, town clerk.
No, it's all right. Don't worry. We're not going to send you to Siberia. Well, not until next week, maybe. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Town clerk, anything to finish? Or can I close the meeting?
No, you've been a tough gig tonight, mind, I tell you.
Nah,
wipe them sweat beads off, Graham.
Okay.
You can handle it. South Shields, lad, hard as nails.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you at the next meeting.
Right, thanks a lot now.
Bye.
Have a good week.